Coming up on the Sell Your Book podcast.
One particular store would not touch it. Like I said, you get no's. She didn't even know that her no was teaching me something. So she
Ooh, come
told
on, girl.
she
Come on,
said,
teach us.
no, I can't take that because I have more than enough local authors' books in here and they just don't sell. And I
Mm.
said, okay. And I went and looked at her display and I said, can I ask you something? Can I put my book in your window right
Mm-hmm.
here? Because she had the books in the back of the toy store. So it's a
Mm.
toy store. Who's going to the back to look at books
Right.
in a toy store? And I said, if you put my thing was put the books up in the front, mine particular, in the window. I said, give me 7 days. If it doesn't sell, you can just toss it in the trash. That lady called me and she asked me for 10 more books.
Okay.
I was geared to ask, can I put my book in the store? But when she rejected me, I was like, well, let me see what else we can do. Because,
Mm-hmm.
all no's can be turned to yeses.
Welcome to Sell Your Book. It's the podcast for existing or aspiring self-published business book authors who want to know what's working right now to help you sell more books, get more clients from your books, and expand your opportunities. If this is your vibe, you gotta subscribe. Now, let's get into today's conversation. Welcome to this episode of the Sell Your Book podcast. And already you can see there is a problem. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. So you should already know this episode is just it's gonna be a time, okay? As the kids say, it's gonna be a key. All right. So let me first off explain the fact that why we do not have video on today. Here is the reason why we don't have a video podcast today. I asked my guest to come on, and she said yes. And so we were trying to get times, but then she was going to be busy, and I was going to be busy. We're going to be in town and out of town, and this and that, and the third. And both of us was like, well, I'm not quite ready to get on camera because my hair is not did.
The froze were not in compliance.
Listen,
Okay?
the
Froze
froze
were
were
not
not
in
in
compliance.
compliance. Okay, I didn't have a haircut. She didn't have a haircut, and we was like, "Is we gonna? Is we fitting to let a little bit of hair stop us from recording this episode?" And we said, "Nah."
No.
So, what you got is you got an audio of two very lively personalities, and you got some cute pictures to look at. Okay, these are the sanctioned pictures that you were looking at in this episode. So.
Oh, I don't know. That picture was right after the swimming pool, so I don't know how cute that picture is gonna be.
It
But the
is a cute
fro, let's
picture.
just say the fro was froing.
The fro was throwing, and so it is a sanctioned picture. All right, so my guest. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit. Okay, my guest is already talking, right? And normally
Oh,
I introduce
sorry.
my guest. All right, it's okay. It's all good. It's because this is how we do when we get together. So my guest today is. We're gonna keep this intro short. Okay, my guest today is. I don't know if she knows this, but she's one of my first book writing clients. That's number one.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I ever told you. I think I worked with someone else before you, but you were in that very early number one, number two, number three.
Okay.
But my guest is one of my first book writing clients, and she is a celebrity nanny. She's been a celebrity nanny, meaning she has worked with celebrities. So y'all, we can name drop in this podcast, but we're not going to do that. We're going to save it for the book.
Uh, name brand and off brand. Name brand and off brand.
Disrespectful. She has worked with name brand and off brand celebrities. Okay. So promise you, we could name drop, but we not finna do that. Okay.
Nah.
She's
NDAs.
been NDAs. So she has worked as a celebrity nanny for over 22 years. She is also an early school, early education educator, and she is an author. She has at least two books under her belt. The third one it's been in process, but it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's gonna be a good
Yeah,
happy hour, but it's coming.
it's coming. Yeah, I want you to put your virtual hands together for my guest, Miss Kimberly
Hello,
Jones.
everyone. So happy to be here. This is really
Listen,
cool.
and here's one other very fun fact. Very fun fact. Kimberly Jones and Denise Renee are birthday twins.
Wow. This is true.
We are birthday twins. We are both zany personalities. So, it's just gonna be on and popping in this conversation. Okay.
What do you have to say when the birthday is?
Well, we have the best birthday on the earth.
Yes,
It is December 25th.
absolutely.
Absolutely. We're Christmas babies. So, we're special people. All right, Kimberly Joan, how are you doing this
I
morning that we are
am.
recording this?
I'm lovely. How are you?
I
Happy to
am doing
be on the podcast.
happy to be on the podcast. I have a whole bunch of testimonials on my YouTube channel, and you were not one of them. I don't know how I feel about that.
Ooh, just put me on the spot on the podcast. We podcasting. Okay. We
We
podcasting
podcasting,
now.
but
Okay.
that's okay. Okay, we podcasting now, and so you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay.
So
Well, if you have me on again, I will have that testimonial on the next one. So I don't have to get so podcasted.
you getting podcasted on the podcast. All right. So it's very interesting, I think, how we actually met. You want to tell the people how we met?
You tell them how we met.
All right, y'all. So there was a point in period in my life where I used to drive Uber while I was growing my business. And what I would do was I would have a sign in the on the back seat of my car,
Mm-hmm.
and it said, had my name, my picture, and what I did, ghostwriter, writing coach, editor, da da da. And one day she got in the back of my car and she said, "Oh my goodness, you were writing! Oh my God, I need to talk to you." You want to pick up the conversation from there?
And so, I mean, because it had just popped in my head that I want to write a book. And then it's just crazy. Everything just came together. I just decided I want to write a book. Then I get in this Uber on my way to happy hour and I see all this sign. I was like, this is all the things I need. So let's go. And I mean, it was perfect. To me, it was just how it happened was perfect. And I mean, I called you, we hit the ground running, we wrote a book. It was
Sure did. It happened in 4 months. It was
it
great.
happened just like that.
It was great. I think one of the things I will say from my perspective as a book writing coach, one of the things that made your project, your first one, so easy is that you had been thinking about this book for a very long time. You told me, you probably don't remember, but you told me that you had the book on your mind for about 10 years. You had been
Hmm.
really writing it. And for honestly, the second book, actually, you had been, well, we will get more into it, but
Hmm.
you had been really developing and telling that story for quite some time. And that one came out really easily too. So I
Yeah.
will say for any author, if you've had an idea on your mind for a very long time and you've been turning it around and around and around, it's just all a matter of sitting down, getting focused, and getting it out. The process will be, kind of quick when you know
Hmm.
what it is that you want to write about and what it is that you want to say. What do you
Yeah.
want to say about the writing
Well,
process?
that is you hit the nail on the head. I'm not a writer. I mean, I could do grad school papers all day long, but I'm not a writer as in a let's write a book writer. So I always had this book in my head and it was actually my craft. I would go to work and try to see how I could better situations and help my families. And that's what the drinking in is about. Things that I saw that if they did it this way, it would maybe easier for them. And I was always writing in my head, editing in my head, but nothing ever got on paper until I met you. And then you were like, okay, so you can tell me the book, we can talk it, record it. And then we went through that whole writing process and that worked for me. And so, I was a writer, but in a different way.
You were an author, not necessarily a writer.
That part. I was an author, not necessary. And I honestly think I'm still an author, but not a
You are.
writer. But I have all these things in my head that I just have to. It's like when an illustrator draws your pictures. when the author gets with an illustrator, the
Hmm.
illustrator has to get those pictures out of the author's head and
Hmm.
draw them to their
Yep.
liking until they actually nail it. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what you did. You got the book out of my head exactly how it was in my head. We edited it, and it was a perfect process.
So I, sorry, I actually have a video that I recently posted, and it talks about how you can be an author even though you're not a writer. And you just gave a perfect example of that. So being an author is basically having the idea, having the concept, having the IP, the intellectual property of whatever that book is. So, and being a writer is someone who has been practicing this for, forever,
Mm-hmm.
who has
Yeah.
the skills to, really craft the words on the paper. So,
Yeah.
if so, I want to let anyone know, if you feel like you've got all these great ideas, you want to write a book, you want to write series of books, but you're like, oh my goodness, I don't really know how to, put this together as a writer. Writing is not my
Mhm.
skill. It is still possible for you.
It is.
So go
And
ahead.
when you get the correct help, it's like I knew I wanted to get it on paper in book form because there was something that I wanted that I was doing that I thought I needed to share. And so kept going. I can't tell, I can tell person each client, each client, each client, but how can I get this out to more people? And that's the reason why I was so driven to write a book, is because I wanted to share what I thought would help people, help moms, help dads, and I wanted to get it out to more people. So that's why I wanted to put it in book form.
So let's back up. You slipped the name out a little bit, and I want to tell people when she was in the back of my car yelling her head off.
Yeah,
um,
I
she
was a
told
lot
me,
younger.
well, it's okay. She told me the title of the book, and I did a double take. I said, "What now? The what?" So run that title by them one more time.
Okay, so the first book is called The Drinking Nanny. And you have to be your brand. So at the time I was my brand, but I wanted to
Yeah, so
no
I was just like,
shame.
well, first let's just stop there. I think one of the successes of a book is the title, and if you have a title that captivates people's attention, it made me do a double take. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not finna hire a nanny who's finna be drunk, okay?
right. Right.
It's just
But
like you.
it's like so
So tell
I
people what you mean by the drinking nanny.
the drinking net. So here's the thing: you marketing is part of the book process. You got to
Mm-hmm,
have a something that's going to draw them in, that wants them to make them purchase this
mm-hmm,
product. And
mm-hmm,
so I'm a silly one. I like humor. I love humor. And I was like, you know what? The drinking nanny is hilarious. And every time I would tell somebody I'm writing a book, the first thing they say, "What's the name of it?" And I would say, The Drinking Nanny. They would crack up laughing. And
mm-hmm,
I love that. I was like, it has to be the title now. The Drinking
mm-hmm,
Nanny has to be the title because that draws them in. Because then the second question is, well, what is your book about?
mm-hmm,
And when I tell them what my book is about, it really has nothing to do with drinking. It's actually something that'll help parents, in certain situations with children. And they're like, I've had people, I'm out at happy hour and, I'm having this laugh. The drinking nanny, what is it about? They pull out their phones, they order the book. So
mm-hmm.
that the title is the marketing, it works. And I love it. It's still funny to me today. I don't drink as much as I used to. I've gotten a little older. However, I still love the title. It's a funny title. It's all smiles, all jokes, and it's a great read.
Now, let me let people know the subtitle, because now this really gets into what the book really actually is about. So, the title is The Drinking Nanny, and the subtitle is Codes to Live By When the Kids Drive You to Drink. So, it kind of ties in there. So,
Yes.
tell us about the codes.
The codes. So the whole subtitle, I think that was from my personal standpoint because I was at work and these kids literally were driving me to drink. And but but it worked for the parents too because they live with them. So I think some of them were having cocktails because of their children. But so the codes, I wanted to come up with things that kids experience often, like tantrums, like not sharing well with others, sippy cups, pacifiers. And my favorite code is code 17, not playing well with others.
Mm-hmm.
And so when their parents are like, "Well, how'd you come up with these codes?" I'm like, "It's a form of discipline that I use instead of telling people stop throwing that tantrum, stop hitting your brother, stop doing this." I'll ask the kids. I share with them what the code is because everything is a teaching opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach them these different code words for discipline
Mm-hmm.
instead of, me, stop that, sit down, and all that. So if I say, "Hey, we having a code 17, my kids will stop in the middle of, they might be fighting over a truck or fighting each other or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, "No, Steve is having a code 12. He's not sharing. He's not sharing well with others, and they
Mm-hmm.
know. So it kind of like I involve them in the discipline,
Mm-hmm.
but I also make it somewhat fun, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're, caught in the moment, that they're angry or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
then it kind of lightens the mood when I'm like, "Hey, we having the code 12 or we having the code 17." It's just all fun because, again, I love humor
Mm-hmm.
and I love silly, and I don't think everything has to be such a serious lesson.
Absolutely. I love it. Yeah, I've done, of course, I worked on the book. So I know the book backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
So it's really a book for adults.
Yes.
It's for the parents. It's for grandparents who watch their kids. It's for other
Hmm.
people who may be babysitting their kids. It's even for educators who are working with younger kids. I would say kids under 12, and you need a way to like really handle and work with kids. The
Hmm.
codes are really helpful, and I found myself not necessarily using code words, because there was a period of time I was working in an elementary school a few years ago, and elementary school kids, God help us all. But I did use a lot of the concepts and in breaking up fights and
Hmm.
helping the kids to communicate with each other. So it's
Yes.
really helpful, y'all. So if you've got small kids in your life in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and check that book out.
And
Now,
I think
go
it's
ahead.
I think it's good that you also connect with children. I connect with children through my humor. And
Hmm.
so with these codes, you connect with them, and then they start to realize, hey, this behavior is not code worthy. Let's let's not do that. So I
Hmm.
just love to involve them in the process.
So you said earlier that you had these ideas. You've been developing them as you were working
Hmm.
for the longest time, and then you wanted to try. You felt yourself like kind of repeating it and teaching other parents. What,
Hmm.
but was there another inspiration specifically to write a book and become an author?
I would think that disaster at the hibachi grill really,
Girl,
really, I was
girl,
like, I really need to share some things
girl, y'all,
with
you have to get the book in order to know about the
I
hibachi grill incident.
and I was, and when I say the hibachi thing, it really was like in a movie. Like every disaster that could happen did
Happens.
happen. Even the fire on the hibachi grill that's
Oh my
usually,
gosh.
well contained and all that, it
Mm-hmm.
went wrong. So it was I was like, and I'm sitting there, in the movies when the person is like,
Mm-hmm.
all this is happening around them and they're just
And they're
zoned
just
out.
staring. They're just like,
And
oh my
yeah,
god.
and I said, I need to put this in motion. It is time. It is time because this poor woman has no clue
Mm.
as we're, retrieving children out from under, fighting up under the table. We got three running around the restaurant. So that's when I was at my point.
Mm.
I need to share my knowledge and things that I think will help parents just on a daily basis. Something as simple as going out to dinner.
Hmm. Now, this is the Sell Your Book podcast. So, although, we talk about writing process and inspiration and things like that, we like to get into the numbers up and hill. So,
Okay.
now I know that when you were writing your book, you didn't necessarily have an audience of people. You didn't necessarily have, like, a big social media presence or anything like that. So how did you get started with selling your book? And let us know to your level of comfortability, how well your book sold, if you want to share numbers or a range of numbers, how the book, helped you with your, either supplement your income, or, were you able to quit, uh, being a celebrity nanny off the
No.
proceeds of the books? Let us know
Well,
what happened with the sales.
still working full time.
Nothing wrong with that. I still work
No,
full time. What
because
you talking about?
the thing is, I didn't go into it writing a book to make money. I actually went into it to have street cred with my kids.
Hmm.
I mean, something as small as that. And it was nice to make money while doing that, because
Hmm.
when I would go and tell these stories for the kids to see the book, after we got it published and everything,
Hmm.
and for my families to see the book, to me, that was the most fulfilling thing. They were like, "Oh my goodness, you were serious about this. Like, you weren't kidding. You weren't kidding." And then
Hmm.
the preparation, I did not have a social media presence. I didn't have all of that, but what I did have was some really loyal clients.
Hmm.
And so when I came out with this book, and
Hmm.
I got a box of books,
Hmm.
because that's what happens when the publisher, you write a book, they throw you a box of books and say good luck to you. And And so I took these books, and I would start giving the books away, and I would go to work, and they were like, "Oh, wait a minute. We have to buy this book." And I mean, everyone would buy 20 books, 30 books, all this stuff. And I was like, "This is really crazy." But when the check started coming, I was like, "This is not so crazy. This is really good."
So you mean the checks from from the publisher,
From the
based
publisher,
on the
that,
people who were
yes.
ordering the book on Amazon and on
Yeah.
your publisher's
So
website.
so really my start into selling my book were my clients letting everyone know. So it went from 5 clients to 20 clients, and then to their friends and families, and then to their friends and friends and families, and it just kept going. And it was nice. I mean, I haven't sold a ton of books, but
Hmm.
I've sold enough that I get a check every quarter.
Hey,
So, huh?
listen, it's
Yeah.
a nice sponsor of a night out.
Yeah, it really is, and it comes in handy because the quarter, I can't keep up with it. It comes every 3 4 months, and it's nice. It's nice to have mailbox money every now and then
Hmm.
when it comes.
Hmm.
But so I had a book launch to start
Yep, I remember that event.
this the sale of the book, and even that was my clients. They put that together.
Hmm.
They sponsored it. They
Hmm.
put it on
But boy,
everything.
hold up, y'all.
Oh.
She had it at a little bougie country club. Okay, y'all. All right,
It
because
wasn't.
like I said, she a celebrity nanny. All right, so she worked with the money people. All right,
And
and so they hooked her up. Okay,
very,
yes.
very grateful,
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
very grateful that I had it at Capital City Country Club, and it was a nice turnout. And they bought all the books that were there. They bought books online. I mean, it just kept going.
Hmm.
And so the first book, I think, first in the first week, I think the first week I sold, because your launch is always your biggest money grab.
Hmm.
When you
She
first
said a
when you
money
first
grab. I'm
come.
done.
Well, I mean, hey, it is. It is what it is. I'm a hustler. We talking about numbers. I'm gonna be real.
Yes, yes,
So,
girl.
so when you launch a book, that's your biggest one, because everybody's excited about it. It's
Hmm.
new.
Hmm.
They want to support you, and
Hmm.
they get that money,
Hmm.
and they send it in. They order your book and all that stuff.
Hmm.
The hard part is when you're trying to market and sell to the people you don't know,
Hmm.
and that's the general public.
Hmm.
And so that is hard to keep that out there, but you find ways. So the way I work in the school district.
Oh, we
I
gonna
have
get to that.
Oh,
That's gonna come for your second book, and I got you, girl.
oh,
But wait,
okay,
you
okay,
you
okay,
was start you
okay,
was I'm gonna redirect you. You were
okay.
starting to say about the money grab, right?
Yes.
And you were starting to say the first week and the first month. So what was? Go back to those numbers of whatever you'd like to share
So I
about that.
think the first week, um before the launch, I
Mm-hmm.
think I sold because I was putting the blast out there and everybody was grabbing the books. And I think that was like maybe 100 online sales, just from family and all that stuff. When I got to the book launch, I think I probably sold another 250, 300. So in 2 weeks, that was almost like, let's see, 400 books right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my publisher put it on Amazon
Mm-hmm.
and Barnes and Noble. So that's when it starts to come out. I had to fill out like a author profile on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon
Mm-hmm.
so they could get to know me, and because they always want to read a review about the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then people just started buying it, and I was amazed by that because my book debuted in the category. I can't remember the category because I mean this is 2019. My
Mm-hmm.
memory's not great, but
Girl.
I was not great. But I know that when my book debuted, it was, I believe, like number 5 or 7 in my category, which was great because people look at those ratings and then they
Mm-hmm.
just buy the book.
Yes. I think
And
you did hit number one in one of the
I
categories
was,
for a day because I
yeah,
remember taking the screenshot. I
yeah,
don't know
I
what I
was
did
number
with it, but
one,
that was
and
a
I
while
think
ago.
that was in the baby's health or I can't remember. It was
Some
some
one of
kind
them
of
categories.
parenting. It was
Yes.
some kind of parenting site, and I was number one for like maybe 1 or 2 days, and
Yes.
that was a good day because I think I sent that to everybody
Yes,
in
you
those
did.
24 hours.
Yes, you did. Because I grabbed the screenshot. I was like, look at my client. Okay, number one.
I was like, this is awesome. This is
Yes.
awesome.
Awesome. So I want to just pause real quick and just let everybody know. Uh, this is a very key gem. So if you do not have a an established audience, you don't have the big social media presence, you don't have an email list, nobody knows you, online in the world from a can of paint. One thing you can do to get a successful book launch off the ground is to galvanize your personal network. I mean, like
Yes.
Kimberly Jones said, her people came out and supported her in droves. It did help that, some of the people
Mm.
that she knows,
Right, right.
they
It
got
did
money
help.
to support. Okay, that
But
helps.
but your network is your network. So
Yes, it is.
whoever your system is that is
Mhm,
around you, supporting you,
mhm.
church, friends, bingo club, have
All of it. Hello? Oh, no. No, 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 no. What just happened? Okay. Yeah, technology. I don't know what happened. But anyway,
but we're back. We're back.
we're
We're
back.
back.
We're back. Part two. Uh, okay, so you were in the middle of saying we were talking about, I had mentioned that even if you don't necessarily have a big, huge online presence, that's not the only way to sell books. You should galvanize your personal network and really get people will want to support you
Yes.
in what you're doing, and you were on a roll, honey, like butter.
Yes. Well, because I was saying everyone has a network
Hmm.
and it may not be on that big high scale, but
Hmm.
everyone has a network. You have your friends, you have your work group, you have your church, you have if you're in a support group,
Hmm.
you have a network, and that's what you should tap into. And if you don't, then you can always create a network, which is what we're going to talk about when we get to the children's book, is
Hmm.
what I did. I created another one network that wasn't on the high end scale. But
So,
whatever your
mhm,
resources are around you,
mhm,
and tap into it because they're there for people. Don't know when people know that you have something like writing a book, they want to support you. They
mhm,
get excited about that.
mhm,
And they're like, well, where are you? Yeah, I'm going to take this to my church group, or I'm going to take this to my, bridge group, and
mhm.
we're going to buy your book. So you never know what your network's strength is. So you have to tap into it.
Absolutely. I would say the marketer in me,
Hmm.
and I was always encouraging you to do this, and sometimes you did it, sometimes you didn't. But the marketer in me says that while you are getting people, on board, and when they're buying your book, do everything in your power to get their contact information and create a list
Yes.
so that now you have a list of people an email list, you have their phone numbers or a text distribution list where you can now keep up with people on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, send out a newsletter and say, hey, thanks for supporting my book. I've got another one on the way in a
Hmm.
couple of months. Stay on top of people and encourage them to follow you on social or things like that. But you want to keep a list as much as possible of your buyers so that when you put out your next book, things become a little bit easier. And
Yeah,
you're not gathering people from the four corners of the earth. You've already got it in either a CRM,
true.
a customer relationship management system. You have it in a Google Docs, you have it in a spreadsheet, you got it somewhere, honey. Yeah. So
Well, I
that
mean,
is,
you
go
that was
ahead.
very valuable what you mentioned to me, and I've gotten better at listening. I've gotten better at listening. I'm a work in progress. So by the time we got to the second book, I started heeding your advice. But it's very good advice, very good marketing, and it was very easy to the next time around to reach out to the people to sell the book because you just literally click a blast. But
Exactly.
yeah, but I did listen for the record.
Amen.
Eventually, but I
Amen.
did listen.
Glory
Keyword
to God.
eventually.
Glory to God. This is okay. It's okay. As long as we did it. Now, I want to say also here, and this is a testament to you. And this is also one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast because by nature, y'all, if you know, to know Kimberly is to know she is a hustler. And
Yes.
I think, and I'm gonna just put you on podcast blast one more time, one more game. We're gonna do it one more game. I really think because I've gotten we've been friends now for like a couple years, and I've
Hmm.
gotten to know your story, and I just remember you telling me, and I was just fascinated from beginning to end because you are a really great storyteller. But just everything that you went through, leaving home, your adventures through
Yeah.
college,
I don't know if I'm a
coming,
great storyteller as
you
well as
you
this
are.
really was my life.
It was, but it's both, right? It really was your life, and you are a great storyteller. And the thing that I love about your personality is that you're always looking for the humor in things, and so you just put things in such an interesting way that's just so uniquely you. I really think that you should, after get all your kids' books out of you and everything like that, because I know we talked about a series.
Hmm.
Um, I really think that you should do an autobiography. I think that thing is going to be hilarious. But y'all, she is a natural born hustler, and if you know
This
how
is
she
true.
got to Atlanta, and how she hustled her way into celebrities' homes and charging the big bucks, not just a babysitter, honey, a nanny, and the big bucks nannies. Okay, that's what she was pulling in. All right.
Yes.
So your very nature, no matter what you're gonna put your mind to, you are just like boom. I'm hitting the ground running, and we finna get this done.
Yeah.
So one part is yes, galvanizing your network, but you are also a very, very much a natural born hustler, and you stayed on top of it. In
Mm.
terms of reaching out to people and getting those books sold in that first year, and also you also wound up on I think it was a Good Day Atlanta
It was
twice,
at
two or three
Atlanta
times.
and Company.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta and Company.
Exactly.
And I was on Good Day Atlanta too,
Mm-hmm.
selling my book. I mean, it
Selling
was crazy that they had a 10-second, 15-second segment. I was like, all I need is five. It was
it.
like, I just want to tell you about my book. Here we go. And they
So
were
yeah,
like, and you're on. I was like, and I was on. I sold that thing and I
listen.
came off. I had comments on 11 Alive's website and they were talking
Mm-hmm.
about, I mean, they were good and bad. It is the internet.
It's the
Like,
internet,
why is the nanny drinking? I was like, so read my book and it's not even
and you'll
about
find
drinking.
out
Yeah.
exactly.
But all publicity when you're writing is great.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I sold some books off that 15 seconds.
Listen, well, it was more than 15 seconds. But yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that, guys and gals, once you put your mind to it, you can really do some grassroots
Hmm.
marketing of your book. Everything doesn't always have to be online. And I think also you shouldn't necessarily just hide behind, oh, online, I'm going to, make a post and everyone's going to
Hmm.
buy. No, you got
Yeah.
to hustle online and you got to hustle
In person.
offline as well.
And the
Ex-
thing too, I'd add to that, don't be afraid of the no's,
mm,
because when you are selling a product, not everybody wants it.
hmm
But for those few no's, I'm getting a lot of yeses. And I'm
hmm
not afraid to ask. I'm like, can you put my book in your store? Can you put my book in your window? Okay, now I'm gonna go over here to the next business where that person said yes, and now my book is in the window. So, don't be afraid to ask. Go after it. I mean, I love my no's because they just build. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna ask 10 more people. And I
hmm
guarantee you that I'm gonna take these no's and that one yes is gonna trump all of y'all. So game on.
I
Told you.
love it. I
Hustler by
love it.
nature.
hmm I love it. So I want to get into the next book, which I am still loving to this day. But I don't think okay, we one more again. We gonna podcast blast. I don't think I have my signed copy of the first one, but I don't think I got my signed copy of
Oh.
the second
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
one.
And I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna put it out there. I am sorry. It is my bad because you and about 20 other of my friends, they're like, hey, wait, hold up, hold
Hello,
up,
where my
hold up.
signed copy?
And I'm like, I know. So that's the other thing about being an author I had to embrace. First of all, my handwriting is horrible. And my mom told me that's a sign of high intelligence. So I
Go,
take
Miss
that and
Miss.
I run with
That's
it.
it. That's it.
But it has been very challenging for me to sign books. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better because the more we sell, the more I don't mind writing. But
Hey,
I will get your copy and I need to get my friend's copy. I have to be better about that.
thank you. We appreciate you. All right. So the second book is a children's book, and one other thing, I just want to also pause and say that normally, I usually am working with business writers who they're looking to share their expertise in their book. They're looking to grow their business brand or their personal brand so that they can sell more courses or sell more consulting and things like that. Real quick, I know you're enjoying today's conversation, but do you want to write a book that helps you get clients for your business, grows your audience, and expands your opportunities, but you don't know how to get started writing this type of a book that can help you produce these results? Even if you don't feel like an expert, the very act of writing a book will help position you as one. And there is a proven path forward that will help you get what you want. I put it all together for you in my 4 steps to book writing success. Visit www.writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps. Not only do you get the steps, but I also give you videos for each step, breaking them down so that you would know your actionable steps to follow to get started writing your book right away. So hit pause on this episode right now and head over to writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps to download, and then unpause so we can get back into this conversation. They're looking to, grow their business brand or their personal brand so that they can sell more courses or sell more consulting and things like that. You were a different type of customer. Now, your first book definitely was very much a part of your business brand and your professional brand, but
Mhm.
then you branched out into children's books. So I got to just let folks know, yes, I do work with business people, but I also work with fiction writers, and I worked with my first children's book author. Children's books are not my it's not my area of specialty, because I personally like YA and adult books. But
Uh-huh.
writing is writing, and I still know a good story when I hear a good story or see a good story. And when Kimberly told me this story, I was like, oh my God, you have a hit on your hands. And so your second book is called Yad O'Malley and the Unicorn Rainbow Ball. And I was just like, wait, what, huh? When the rainbow unicorn, what now?
The
The who
Unicorn
know
Rainbow
what's head?
Ball.
Yes,
Ghetto.
I had to keep asking you every single time. I'm like, because am I right? Are we putting this right? Is this in the right order? Child. So tell us a little bit about the children's book, this children's story, and how it came to be.
Well, I do appreciate those kind words. How you put in that I'm very special and funny and crazy, but um,
And all in the best ways.
in the
Because
best way,
because
in the
people be
best way.
saying,
That
yeah,
I'm a different. When you said
like,
that I'm a different type of client, I was like, yeah, I'm different.
No, but different in a great way. I don't mean, listen, girl, if I didn't
It's
like
all
you, you
good.
wouldn't be
Yeah,
here.
different in a good way. And I was gonna say, I get that everywhere I go.
And that's
I get it
okay.
a lot. Yeah, you're
That's
different.
okay.
But so I started telling this story. I always tell stories to my kids. I'm either trying to get them to do something, I'm trying to make them laugh, or it doesn't matter. I don't know where it comes, what happened, whatever the situation is. I always have a story for my kids.
Like I
And
said,
this
you're a great
particular
storyteller.
story was a bed for bedtime. I was trying
Hmm.
to get them to go to bed. And so I started out with just a little bit, and then every night we just add something else because in the story, Yaddle has this ball that's magical and it can play any game and do anything this kid wants. So when we were going to bed, they were like, well, what if we could play hopscotch? I'm like, okay, So I made this ball so versatile that it plays everything. And then because the question stopped, because when it was just a regular Yaddle and his ball, it was
Hmm.
like, what can it play? I was like, okay, so let's tap into this imagination. And when it became magical,
Hmm.
the audience was captivated.
Mm.
And this was from age 2 up to age 8, 9, 10. They
Hmm.
were like, wait, what? And the first thing they would say, I wish this ball was real because then we could go out and play football on the playground. And, so
Hmm.
then they got involved. And I was
Hmm.
like, this is great. And they also went to bed with no problems. So
Hmm.
I really love this story. And so I stayed with this because every night I would try to come up with something else. And they were like, no, we want to hear about Yad O'Malley and the Unicorn Rainbow Ball. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, here we go. Well, let's tell this again. And I was like, how many other kids can I share this story with?
Hmm.
And so I called Miss Denise Renee
Hmm.
and we went back to work. And I mean, it just came together nicely. It really
Hmm.
did. It was a fun book to share. It was a fun book to write. And it was a fun story to tell. Even now, I love telling this story.
Mm. I think this one, yeah, this one was easier to write because it was less words. And also, again, you had a very clear idea of
Yeah.
the arc of the story. And I think that because you had the opportunity to really workshop the story so much with your audience, it just boom, it just
Yeah.
flowed. And I think in one of our sessions, because I still have those sessions, and if you need them, I can always share them back with you. But I gave you
Okay.
kind of like the structure of the story and what made it work and why it worked so well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that because you have a whole idea for a series of books, and y'all, when it comes to writing children's book, listen, there is money in children's books. Write a series.
Hmm.
But I gave you like a format. I was like, okay, in your next
Yeah.
couple of books, as long as you do these couple of things, it's gonna keep the same feel
Hmm.
of the book of the original book, and it's gonna help you just just keep on failing.
And
So I
I
go
still
ahead.
use that format that
Hmm.
you gave me, and you gave me the whole printout and everything, and I still use that format because that keeps me in where I'm supposed to be writing, and I
Hmm.
don't venture out and go all the way to the right, because when you're telling a story, you can get lost in, and
Yes.
you add so much information that
Hmm.
it's the story will be lost on all these extra words.
Yes.
And so the layout that you gave me is very simple, and
Hmm.
I follow it. I follow it to this day. I just need to we got to get these codes out and got to get this series going.
Hmm.
Grad school has kind of put that on hold, but we will. I am writing again in October, so I hope to get another one out by Christmas because Yaddle has a Christmas birthday, and I'd
Okay.
love to get a Christmas book out by Christmas.
Now, I think though with children's books, what can take a longer time, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it took you a little bit to get the illustrations done on the first book. Um, and now you have another one that's been in the clip for a while that hasn't come out just yet. And you just told me the other day that you found a great illustrator to work with,
Mhm.
and da 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 da. Da. So for the people who are interested in writing children's books, tell them a little bit about your process with working with illustrators.
So when I work with an illustrator, they have to get what I envision my characters. They have to get that out of my head on paper. And to me, that is a fun process because you tell them about your characters and they interview you. It's like
Mhm.
going to a job interview. And then while you're talking, they're sketching and they're
Mhm.
doing this and doing this. And then I'll go, no, the head's not that round. Or,
Mhm.
this one has glasses. My next children's book, I want to have all my special needs friends in my book, included in my book. So
Mhm.
we'll have one in a wheelchair. We'll have one with spina bifida. We'll have one with muscular dystrophy.
Mhm.
We'll have one autism, Asperger. Everybody's going to be included in this book, and they'll be. I want all the children to see themselves
Mhm.
in my books. I don't want anybody to be excluded. And so when we're drawing these, and I'm like, no, I don't. I want this right here. I don't want. I don't want that color shirt. I want this color shirt, and then I
Mhm.
need some dirt on that shirt because these kids. So it's like it goes
Yeah, they're
back
not
and forth.
perfect.
Yeah, it's a tedious, fun process. But when you get that picture out and you see it,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh my gosh, that's how I see it in my head. They got it out of my head,
Mhm.
and it's a fun process. I really
Awesome.
like the writing and the editing. Not so fun for me, but but because I'm challenged in that area, I'm
It's
very
okay.
challenged. But that's why you get help. You do get people to help you with that process. The illustration, aside from drawing them myself, that's my favorite process. So
Gotcha.
it's so much fun.
Now, I want you to get into your selling your book bag when it came to this children's book because I felt like you just exploded and you came up with all very unique, interesting ways to sell your Yato Mali book. So,
Yeah.
do you know how much when did you publish Yato Mali? I forgot.
So Yet O'Malley was published during the pandemic. It was published 2020.
Okay.
And so that actually was a really good time to publish a children's book because
Yeah, everybody.
everyone's sheltered in place, no one
Exactly.
can go anywhere, and
They ain't got
parents
nothing
have
to do.
right. Parents have gone through the bookshelf like 5, 6 times, and it's like, let's get something else.
You're right.
So I'm like, my publisher was like, you're gonna publish now? And I was like, yeah, you don't understand the hustle. Okay. So I just need that book published and in my hands. Let's go. Let's go. And I put it out everywhere. I was calling people. I was masked up, had on the whole thing, dropping books off. That took off, and it was the best sales for me during the pandemic because all these new people that I didn't know
Hmm.
that were buying on Amazon and buying on Barnes and Noble really
Hmm.
opened up a lot of stuff. It really helped because everyone was sheltered in place and they
Hmm.
were trying new authors. They were trying
Hmm.
new things. Let's just
Hmm.
get this book and see what it does.
Hmm.
And I'm like, yes, let's.
Let's do that. I like that
Let's
idea.
do that.
I love that
So
for me.
that was another part of the hustle side. I'm like,
Hmm.
we're trapped inside. Okay, I don't see it as a negative. Since we're inside, I'm gonna maximize and make the best of this situation that I can. I'm
Hmm.
unemployed. I took my little savings. I wrote a book, spent that money on the book, and it worked out. Turns out I got all my money back, and it just really worked out. It really worked out. And that audience is still waiting for it because I listened to Miss Denise
Because
Renee.
I'm still waiting. What are you
Uh-huh.
talking about? I'm still waiting.
Well, I have all their little information saved because that's what she
Hey,
taught me, and they're
hey.
waiting for that next book. And all I have to
Hmm.
do is now that I have the list and all the contacts saved, when I go even on Instagram, when you come out with something new, you can send it to all your followers.
Hmm.
And so it's really big when I meet people. I'm like, follow me on social media, follow
Hmm.
me, follow me, follow me. Because I noticed with artists when they have a concert coming out,
Hmm.
or even my Oxtail King when he's barbecuing in Atlanta,
Hmm.
they'll send out a blast to their
Hmm.
people,
Hmm.
and it's really easy to do.
Yep. Um, but there's some other things that you did
Yeah,
that
that was
I want you to keep talking about because you have a children's book,
yes.
and then you leverage some relationships that you had somewhere.
Uh
Hmm.
oh.
and
What?
and then you did things in the summer. Girl, get to the good stuff. Get to
Well,
the yams. Get to
so when the world, okay, so when the world opened back up, the
the
world
yams.
opened back up. So I'm the hustler all day. So I'm in my car and I'm just riding by and I see these little toy stores, these little mom and pop toy stores, right?
Hmm.
And they have books in there. So I go, I'm serious. I parked at every single one of them. I walked in with my package and I said, listen, I'd like to leave this. I'm an author. I gave them the spiel. Can you please sell my book in your store? And this
Was that
lady,
on consignment?
it would, what do you mean?
So did you consignment means they'll take a portion of the books. If they sell, then they give you a cut and then they give you back the rest if they don't sell the rest. Or did they purchase them and from you and then they sold it like they would any other product?
So some purchased from me and sold it,
Hmm.
and some said that if I came in and managed the sales, like counted when the book sold or whatever, then I could have the money and replace the books. Then I can have that all to myself.
That's even
Yeah.
nicer.
So that's even nicer. So I would go, I started going in. I was like, say less. So I would go in once a week and I'm just in there and I'd walk back there and I'd count the numbers, how many sold. And I'd kept, she scanned them in, put them on the shelf, boom, we go. She gave me my money. So one particular store would not touch it. They wouldn't touch it because she like I said, you get no's,
Hmm.
you do get no's. And what I learned from, she didn't even know that her no was teaching me something. So she
Ooh, come
told
on, girl.
she
Come on,
said
teach us.
she said no, I can't take that because I have more than enough local authors books in here and they just don't sell. And I
Mm.
said, okay. And I went and looked at her display and I said, can I ask you something? Can I put my book in your window right
Hmm.
here? Because she had the books in the back of the toy store. So it's a
Mm.
toy store. Who's going to the back to look at books
Right.
in a toy store? And I said, if you put my thing was put the books up in the front, mine particular, in the window. I said, give me 7 days. If it doesn't sell, you can just toss it in the trash. I won't even come back and get it. That lady called me and she asked me for 10 more books.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so you were teaching me. I had
Hmm.
to, I was geared to ask, can I put my book in the store? But when she rejected me, I was like, well, let me see what else we can do. Because
Hmm.
all no's can be turned to yeses. And my
Excellent.
book is
I love it.
still in that store. I go over there now once a month because I leave enough for that to leave the month. And you're
Hmm.
still not making a whole lot, but you're still making money. Your book is out there.
Hmm.
And then another thing I got into was fall festivals
Hey.
in the school districts.
Hmm.
Okay. So I was like, wait, fall festival? Okay. And they had actually had people set up booths to sell
Hmm.
their goods.
Hmm.
You know, the jewelry lady, I probably everything I sold from my stand selling my book, I probably gave to the jewelry lady next to me because I
You bought
promise you,
everything.
I bought earrings, bracelets. The lady she had the goods. She
Listen,
had the
the
goods.
money was circulating. It was
It was
circulating. It's
circulating.
okay.
So my
It's okay.
first
It's all
fall
right.
festival, I underestimated. And this is you learn too. You learn too, and you're a business, you learn. I underestimated. I was like, fall festival, how much business am I gonna get? I'm only gonna take X amount of books. Do you know I sold out of those books in the first 30 minutes?
There you go.
30 minutes, I made $200 in 30 minutes. And because I underestimated, I had nothing left to sell. So I started doing what I did. Hey, go on Amazon. If you show me that you bought my book, I'll give you a free goodie bag. I had to improvise, but I was
Listen.
like, never again will I underestimate myself.
And when you go out to these in-person events, do you have a list and you have people writing down their email addresses and phone numbers?
Um, no, I don't have a list, but I do have my iPad set up and
Okay.
I have them follow me on Instagram and
Hmm.
then I go back later and get, their emails and everything. But if that, like I said, the email is kind of hard to do because people, I don't want to get my email, you selling this, but everybody's into, oh yeah, I'll like and follow. I'll follow you on Instagram. I follow you on Facebook or whatever. And then I can go and I'll say, hey, let me get your email because I'm sending this out for this is where I'll be next week or whatever.
Hmm.
But the
Okay.
fall festivals are my bread and butter. I love them. They're fun. You get to interact with your customer. You know, you get to see how people um really relate to your product because they'll
Hmm.
sit there. I have people before they buy the book, they'll sit there and read the book. They're like, I need to know because you know we're in the age of some school districts are vetting books now because
Hmm.
of a situation that happened with a teacher that chose to
Hmm.
read a certain book.
Child. Anybody
So
got
I
time?
have people that will pull up and they will sit there and go through and read the book. I'm like, okay, cool. Do what you do, but
Hmm.
drop that $22.99. When you finish, I'm good. Another thing that I did that since the fall festival was so good, I was like, well, children's book, elementary schools have kids. Let's get the
Hello.
book circulated in the
Hey.
libraries of school.
Hey.
And
Y'all, she is a hustler. Keep going. I'm just letting you
and
run, girl.
so
Just run. Go.
so again, you have to learn. Anytime I get a hustle in my mind, you have to learn how to make it work. So I started calling the front office, and I'm like, "Hey, can you?" You know, they were like, "No." I was like, "Okay, that didn't work." So I said, "Who handles the books? Let me start talking to the librarians."
Mhm.
And the librarian would read the book and everything, and they were like, well, we'll put your book in the library. I'm like, lovely. So my book is in circulation. And what do? You know, they have more than one. So they buy more than one book because kids are checking it out. And I
Mhm.
tell them I will come and talk to the kids. I
Mhm.
go during the course of the year to certain schools and I'm part of their if they're doing an author's purpose, I go and
Mhm.
visit the school.
Mhm.
That they're able to buy my books then.
Mhm.
Sometimes I just give them away, and then
Mhm.
when you give them away, they go and buy more books. Because I have
Hey.
a coloring book, and they'll
Mhm.
go and buy the coloring
Wait,
book.
hold on. I forgot about the coloring book.
Yeah, so I have a coloring book. So what I'll do at my events is I'll give away the coloring book,
Mhm.
and then they'll like, well, we want to buy the hard copy of the book. Then they'll go and buy the hard copy of the book. It's all marketing. It's all marketing.
No, it is a hustle. And what I love about it is that for you is that you don't necessarily come from the marketing world. You're not necessarily trying to do everything quote unquote right. You're doing things that are coming organically to you, and a lot of
Yeah.
times the unique idea or the organic idea works so brilliantly, but you just have to
Mm-hmm.
keep pushing forward and keep pushing forward and thinking of different ways of continuously marketing your book. And that's also what
Mm-hmm.
I want people to take away from this is that you've written the book, you've done the hard work, you made the investment, but now the hard work on the other side
Mm-hmm.
is to continuously get it in front of your audience and continue growing an audience for your book and
Mm-hmm.
continue making those sales.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have 7 T-shirts with my book on it. And I'm usually every day I'm in a t-shirt. And it starts a conversation. Hey, what is that on your shirt? I'm at the airport passing out cards. Here, this is what's on my shirt. Here's my link. You want my QR code? Here you go. Boom.
Buy a book.
Buy my book.
Buy my book.
But
Shameless. And I love it.
it's fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm ready to get the other codes out so I can actually complete the series and be finished writing because I
Mhm.
really want to spend my life. My dream is to be at a festival with a turkey leg and selling
Girl.
books.
And then one of them big, like medieval, like huge
Yes,
sunken brontosaurus
yes.
leg, turkey legs.
And that's the other thing. If you're an author, get in touch with all these festivals. I was just selling at Juneteenth not too long ago in Marietta. Get in touch with these festivals. Pay your little $50, $100 for a booth. Sit there and sell books all day. I mean,
Mhm.
you can get out and sell your book. It is possible.
You've also done this in Arkansas. You've gone to other
Yes.
states,
Yes.
taking your books and gotten into festivals like that. So you also don't have to stay where you are, guys and
Now,
gals. Get in your car and go.
yeah, I tell you my biggest I love speaking to my group in Arkansas. I go there every year, every Mother's Day. I'm their first grade author's purpose person, and I love those kids dearly. And then the biggest thing I did was in April, I was invited to Texas Southern to speak in a class of my high school classmate, Dr. Gwen,
Mhm.
and I got to talk to her students about what you want to do and how you want to make money when you get older. And the
Mhm.
thing was, you don't have to have a traditional route to a
Mhm.
job. You don't have
Mhm.
to be in a company for 30 years. And
Mhm.
that's what I shared with those kids. I shared with them the things that I do and how I make money while I'm at work making money, which is what
Mhm.
the book does. You
Mhm.
know, I'm making money while I'm at my well, I don't have a 9 to 5 when I do celebrity work. While I'm at work,
Mhm.
you know, and there's all avenues you can do. Whatever it is you like or love, you can make money off that.
Mhm.
These kids have a unique opportunity
Mhm.
to do whatever they. I have one kid that I babysit. He makes 3D baseball card holders. He's had a
Mm.
business since he was, I believe, 12.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
and he is a junior now in high school, and
Mhm.
that's his business because that's what he loves to do. His
Mhm.
parents bought him a printer, and that's
Mhm.
what he does. He has orders all over the country
Mhm.
for baseball card holders. So whatever it is you want to do, if you really want to get this book out to people, it's possible. It's
All
totally
things are
possible.
possible. I love it. Oh my God, Kimberly. Gems.
I have enjoyed this. This was amazing.
Gems.
Now we have to get our hair together, so maybe we can do another podcast where we can actually be on camera.
Listen, I don't know if the camera can handle it because
I say
the
that
audio
jokingly.
stream, the first audio stream said this is too much to handle, and it conked out on us.
That's funny. And look, I say that jokingly because the other downside to being an author is when you have an event and you have to go in person, they don't understand that I just left the swimming pool with 6 kids. You
Girl.
know, it's like okay. So I like the audio. The audio is great.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a visual girl typically. But I'm like,
Okay.
you know what? Right now, I'm also in my done is better than perfect era, and I was just like,
Hmm.
I want to get this interview in. I don't want to do this at the end of August. Let's go.
Hey, and
Um,
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Awesome. Let me ask you one more
Okay.
money question, and that is, so with all of the different activities that you do, you have your book literally in physical stores. You have your book in schools. In your second book rather in
Yes.
schools. You have you have so many different avenues. How much how and you still have it on Amazon and things like that.
Uh-huh.
How much would you say you sell? How many books would you estimate that you sell on a month to month basis? And approximately how much would you say you're making off of your books on a month to month basis?
So monthly, they don't do it monthly, they do it quarterly.
Okay. Oh,
So
that's for your Amazon sale, your online sales and that kind of stuff.
that's for my online sales. So I've been out since 2019 for the Drinking Nanny, and then 2020 for the children's book. I
Hmm.
probably sold over 1,000 copies,
Hmm.
which
Of
is
of
probably
both.
of both. More of my children's book.
Hmm.
So that's probably a little over 20,000, and
Hmm.
that's not really me pushing it.
Hmm.
So
Online. You're
yeah,
mostly pushing
online.
it in person.
Yeah, well, I mean, not even in person. Like the book sells itself. Once you start get it out there, it sells itself.
Mhm.
But this year, I want to up those sales because those aren't really good numbers. But I do want to increase
Wait, wait,
those.
wait, 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 wait.
Uh
Yes, I went down to the basement.
oh.
What are you talking about? Those are not great numbers. Those
Well,
are no, 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 no. Those are fantastic numbers for a new author, for someone who did not have an audience
mhm,
to begin with, for just going on pure hustle and online sales of books. It really comes down to the graphics of your book, the what your book title, what the cover of your book looks like, and the title of the book. So those are the two
yeah,
biggest things that grabs people's attention before they even decide to even click into the description and read a little bit more or see a little bit more and to make a decision. So to sell, you said over 1,000 books
hmm,
over the last couple of years. Those are great numbers. Now, maybe it's not I'm Stephen King rich, but let's keep in mind
Right. Right.
Stephen King also made his money not off of the books, but how many of his books got turned into movies? That's
Right.
where my
Right.
man, really got a lot of his money from. But I mean, for someone who this is just pure hustle, I think those numbers are amazing. And I totally respect where you're like, hey, those numbers are I ain't, but I'm
Yeah.
finna blow it
Yeah.
up. That's
Yeah, and I
respect
appreciate
too.
that, but
Yeah,
it's like it's a personal. I want them higher. That's
I
just,
get you.
and
I
that's just
respect
like a
that.
personal thing. I want them higher, and I'm going hard this year. I got a couple different things I want to do this year. Couple places I want to be with the book. When I say want to be, meaning I want my book to be in certain areas this year,
Hmm.
and I'm waiting on those yeses and to take those numbers up.
Hmm. I love it. And maybe we need to do another a follow up episode next year to see how you have leveled up your game. So
Oh, that'd be awesome.
we
That'd
we,
be
we po-
awesome.
I'm podcasting blasting you one more time. You coming back?
Hey, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I want to end on what any authors that are listening, make sure you utilize all the technology that's out
Hmm.
there too, because people read the paper books, they read the books, but
Hmm.
now you can turn your book into like little
Audio.
mini videos,
Hmm.
mini audios. It's a lot of things that you can do with it, and that's where we're in that direction this year. We're trying to get there, adding those things to Yato, taking them
Hmm.
to a whole nother level. I would love for somebody to pick up Yato on one of those little shorts,
Hmm.
and have my book come to life. That, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, that would be a dream.
Listen, I mean, there's so much AI. So there was this young lady that I found her on Instagram a little while ago, and she was doing these classes on how to create illustrations
Hmm.
and create like cartoons. I mean, what is that? Mommy rose up, mommy rose up, daddy rose
Oh
up,
wow.
daddy. What I can't remember the name of that, but like even that, I mean, that thing.
Hmm.
It's a little black girl. The
Hmm.
cartoon is so cute. They got a little song. It's been viral for months. I can't remember the name of it because I'm not really in the parenting world. But I mean, I am a parent. But my kids, Lord Jesus, my child's about to be 13. Girl,
Yeah.
do you remember when we used to go get pancakes at Jay
Yes.
Christopher's and he was like
Yes.
a little tiny
And
in the
he
booth?
wanted his bacon.
Look, bruh is finna be 13. I'm like,
Wow,
oh
that's
my God,
nuts.
I can't. But anyway, so yeah, so I don't have a small child anymore, but even that has kind
Yeah.
of reached my consciousness. And it is so possible to create these things
Yes.
relatively low cost than what it used to take years and years and years
Hmm.
ago. So
Yeah.
yes, I would love to see a Yadd O'Malley cartoon on YouTube or something like that, and you make that ad revenue. Come on, girl, come
Yeah, that'd be great.
on,
That'd be great. Stay
and
tuned.
sponsorships. What?
Stay
Come
tuned.
on, stay tuned. Yes,
Stay
let's
tuned.
go. Oh man, thank you so very much for coming on, for being you, for sharing what you do, for sharing the hustle. I think if anything, I think if people can grab like 1/10 of your idea of hustle and perseverance and figuring out, okay, if you gotta know, figuring out another way to turn that into a
Hmm.
yes. If
Yeah.
people get that, I think our job is done here. So thank you so much for
Thank you for
being a
having
part.
me. Hmm.
Absolutely. And you will be back. We have already made that
Yes.
notation.
Yes.
And guys and gals, writers, authors listening, thank you so much for hanging out in this episode. And I want you to check out this next one next. Peace out, y'all.